Welcome into episode 0 of Smutty Scriptures. We have our co-hosts here. We're going to get into a book podcast. Basically, we're a bunch of besties that have been getting together and hanging out for years, and we started a book club once upon a time. I bullied all of my friends into reading ACOTAR. As everyone knows, ACOTAR is an MLM. You suck every one of your friends and family into it, and my friends fell victim to it, and now we get together every Saturday and we have a book club. So this is basically an unofficial episode 0 of us recording what that book club ends up being. So yeah.
We're just a bunch of boss babes.
Damn.
Just lemming all over the place. Lem, lem, lem.
What is it? Gatekeep, girl boss, something like that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, I was doing internet cat meme.
No.
Sorry,
girl
I
bosses,
went the other way.
Girl bosses is the name of people who do the MLM marketing schemes.
That's true.
Right. Not internet catting.
No.
Memes.
I mean, maybe. I think it could be both.
It's hashtag girl boss.
Goofies. But yeah, we ended up falling into this little routine, hanging out every Saturday, going through our books, discussing, because right now we've been going through a lot of Sarah J Maas novels, and we have a lot of thoughts and feelings about them, and if we didn't subject our friends into hours of listening to our ramblings and our PowerPoint presentations that we have actually already made, what is friendship for if you can't do that kind of thing together? So
I mean, we are at the moment masochists, right?
Not the Sarah J Maasochists. Which is basically how it feels to get through this book. Sorry, spoilers on our feelings about the writing, but it's okay. It's early work. It's no problem. It's no problem. Does anyone want to give like a overview of what type of books they're enjoying reading in general, that kind of thing? Do a little name intro, a little what you like, what you don't like, so audience kind of can be like, oh, you have similar tastes to me, or something like that.
I'll go first. So I'm a cuddlefish, but you can call me Cuddle. I disliked reading greatly until I was conscripted to this masochist army.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
75-cent word right there.
ACOTAR. I always hated reading. I thought it was so boring I could never really get into stuff. I always wanted to read, but I just could not. And so whenever I was conscripted to the army of masochism, I found that I couldn't put it down. Mm-hmm. I was like, listen, it was a spiritual awakening of sorts.
Incredible.
And now I fucking love fantasy romance novels because I'm a basic bitch. So
Listen. Basic?
I recently have found why choose, and I'm like, listen, that's a great question. How does this apply to my everyday life? It doesn't? Oh, that's fine.
Goofy.
But yeah. Yep, that's me in a nutshell.
And you, Purple? Your introduction, please.
I am Purple Space Cat, and I have been reading as if I have been inhaling the written word forever.
Mm-hmm.
Insert number of age here.
Mm-hmm.
So all of my 29 never moving years.
Yeah. Forever 29. Yeah.
Right.
Forever 29 years. And I definitely go through them way too quickly. It is a very expensive habit. I mean, I don't even know if I can call it a habit. I think it's more like
it's like a lifestyle,
like a non-paying full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Welcome to the MLM.
Yeah. The MLMs. Yes. Here for the MLMs. I started reading fantasy stuff and, got into young adult stuff. And then now I'm an adult. So now I read adult stuff.
There you go.
I like the stuff that doesn't actually exist, though. Not the stuff that does exist, because that's sad.
Yeah. Hate that stuff.
Yep.
Ooh,
Yep.
Yikes.
Goofies. Yeah, I will say, anyone listening to the podcast kind of jumping in from, ground zero, so to speak, it's going to be all fantasy, all sci-fi maybe. It's never going to be anything, I think, too too realistic unless you two somehow manage to bully me into reading something like that. But I kind of need there to be a fantasy element, you know? I need vampires. I need aliens. I need something. I need
monster
something.
porn.
Okay, listen.
Well, hey, the realistic that it gets, as realistic as it gets, is probably, you know, cryptozoology.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the scientific study of shit that's not actually real.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. Would you like to offer up your introduction there, fearless leader?
Who?
Yes.
Me? The one who conscripted you both to my growing army.
Yeah, of boss babes. Yeah.
Incredible. I love it. See, the business is shaped like a pyramid, but it's not actually a pyramid scheme.
It's really an upside down triangle.
Exactly. See? Okay. But yeah, as far as intro, I am Blue Cromwell. You can just call me Blue, ain't no problem. I do have blue hair right now. I know we're not doing a video, but I do feel like that's important to mention because I will probably be making jokes about it and a lot of puns, so I need you in on that. But yeah, as far as my overall book preferences, I had a really big reading phase as a kid. I was all about reading and reading above my grade level and trying to do all that and academic validation. But I spent a shit ton of time at the library. And, it's something that I almost regret to say. Maybe growing out of it's not the right term, but eventually you get busy. Life gets busy. You don't have nearly as much time to read as when you're a child and have no responsibilities.
Rude.
I know. Really hate to see it. And then recently I wanted to get back into it. I challenged myself to do 12 books in a year. Kind of pacing myself for one every month. And I kind of just rediscovered how much I enjoyed reading. I'm going to be completely honest. I read Twilight to get me back into it. I had never read it before. And then shortly after, I found ACOTAR and definitely wanted to go on the fantasy, the more adult side of fantasy. Being an adult myself now, wanting to have different kinds of stories that I experience and whatnot. So here I am, full blown back into my reading era.
Listen, Blue, we all know what's your favorite book. We already know. I already know it is the book that I know you have next to you right now.
No, you do not bring this into the podcast.
It's going in the podcast.
I'm editing this out.
Feelings.
Okay. All right, listen.
Is that the ACOTAR coloring book?
Okay, first of all, we love the ACOTAR coloring book.
And then
what's wrong with coloring books?
You've got the Jason Momoa coloring book.
It's true.
Why are you like why is that everybody's business what I do with my colors?
See? But Purple, I didn't tell you about this. When I was getting back into my reading phase of like, I'm going to read 12 books in a year and do all this, I had actually fallen into book talk pretty early. And I fell into the hype of one particular book. And I hated it so much. I thought it was so bad that I thought I didn't like reading. I thought I truly hate... No. I thought I...
50 Shades.
No. No, something popular on Book Talk. Like, new. I'll show it to you in a second. But, I hated it so much that it was infuriating to me every time I read. And I finally got through it. And, it genuinely made me think I could not read anymore. I was like, no, I can't. This is not a hobby for me. I must have just been a thing I was into as a kid, I guess. That's how bad it went for me.
Well, I'm illiterate now. Thanks, book.
It actually, ironically, is ACOTAR fan fiction.
Oh no, wait. You didn't tell me that.
Okay, maybe fan fiction's a little loose of a term, but it is heavily inspired by ACOTAR, and the author even themselves has said that it's basically because they wanted more ACOTAR, and that's the whole premise. It's Veil of Truth and Trickery. This might be my least favorite book I've ever read.
What your message to the author is maybe ACA don't?
Oh.
ACA don't.
Stop immediately.
The seal of disapproval.
Dude, I genuinely, I don't know why in my head I was like, what is ACOTAR? I'll read the fan fiction version instead of the real one, so I'm not really sure what happened there. I mean, in a way, it kind of led me to that because I was like, okay, this is based on a book that I'm hearing everyone say such good things about. How is this book that's based off of that series? Like, how is this so bad? Like, there's no way that's going to be good. But I gave it a shot out of respect. And now it's my whole personality. I don't know. Maybe for the last year.
It's your control, right? It's your control group. So you just, as long as every book you read is better than that, we're fine.
Yeah, okay. It has to be. That'll be my ranking scale. It'll have to be
exactly
like, my number, like my 1 on my scale of 1 to 10, Veil of Truth and Trickery, and then my 10, like A Court of Silver Flames.
That one was a 10. Oh,
I love it. Wait, okay, I love it. Wait, this is not a discussion about ACOTAR, but here we are.
Oh, we've got so many feelings. That's like a whole season.
Yeah,
nothing but ACOTAR.
We all just read and finished all the ACOTAR stuff that's current, and then we decided to do this.
And we definitely all finished it at the same time.
Yeah.
So
moving on.
So we finished ACOTAR, but now we're diving into the next holy tome of the Masochists, and that would be Throne of Glass.
Yeah, very exciting.
We're going backwards.
Halfway. What chapter did we agree to stop at? About chapter 31, I think. Technically, it's 55 chapters, so a little bit over half. What can I say?
Through the end of 31.
Incredible.
Yep.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, when Sarah wrote this, the author, she was like, what, 17?
I didn't realize she was that young. I knew it was really early for her, but I didn't realize
16.
Wow, 16. Okay, I forget.
Yep, when she began writing this novel. So, that being said, I'm going to go very gentle.
I'll have to change what I was going to say.
Yeah, that puts things in perspective a little bit for me, for sure. Because I think we all had some mixed opinions on what we've read so far, perhaps.
They were very strong opinions.
Again, I think we were just comparing it to the ACOTAR series that we just read. And obviously skill plays a huge role in it. And I think that Sarah has shown a great advancement in skill, which one would hope considering that she is currently 37 and she wrote this more than half her life ago.
Yeah,
so
you would expect some things to change.
So yeah, one would hope with some growth, and it's very evident that growth has happened as an author.
Yeah. Yes,
it's true. It is definitely a little tough to go into Throne of Glass after reading ACOTAR, which is such a great series. I mean, Throne of Glass, I am enjoying it quite a bit so far, but it's just not. I mean, it's also a different genre too, right? You got to factor in it's young adult, and that was definitely at the time that they wrote this, that was more of the preferred. Adult fantasy really wasn't as big of a genre, I guess I'd say. I mean, smut itself has always been big, but as far as the actual high fantasy plot line, things are happening. That's more of a thank God, a newer trend that's happening, which I love to see. But I feel like she was a little bit of a victim of her time, as well as, obviously, her age at the time would have played a huge factor into the whole young adult thing, because that's what they were, I guess.
Agreed. I think she teeters sometimes, especially about halfway through the book, and maybe kind of like, are we maybe going to get a little spicy? And the answer is no, we're not. No, we're just going to think about it. Because, we're 16 and we shouldn't know how to write those scenes.
No, that's probably a good thing that it didn't happen, because there would be some questions that would be posed.
Fair.
So, but yeah, I guess that's my general impression is it's slow. It's very immature. I could definitely see a lot of, high school girls reading it and stuff. It's all fine. Yeah. So yeah, I wish I read this before ACOTAR, but I have a feeling, given my personal feelings, I probably would not have continued reading.
No.
Yeah.
This book was low-key boring as fuck.
Okay, first of all, we're fighting.
That is.
I'm sorry. I was like, dear God. I want to be nice because she started it when she was a teenager. It is so boring.
I have hope that she's going to come out like from a random corner and then just stab me in the heart, which is what I want. Sarah,
Yeah.
please ruin me, Sarah.
Metaphorically.
Yes.
Well,
Don't actually stab
hoping.
anybody.
unless.
No.
Unless.
And that's kind of like a thing that they say about the Throne of Glass books, right? You get to like 3 or 4 blue. Is that what you were saying before?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm putting my trust into Sarah. For everywhere she took us in the ACOTAR series, I trust her. Plus, we do have the benefit of TikTok being very prevalent and getting a lot of TikToks about her work. So I see a lot of people say that, some of their favorite books in this series are coming up, like 3 and 4, that they're just as good as Mist and Fury. And some people put them ahead of any other book. I've even seen people, there's a trend for a while talking about like their favorite couples in all the ACOTAR books, or all Sarah J Maas's books, rather. All of the different characters that they enjoyed. And a lot of them actually picked favorite characters from these series.
Yeah.
And not the ACOTAR series, even though they loved them and then had read them. So it's something I'm willing to give time and trust into, because if we are going into mentioning our ACOTAR love, I think you guys both didn't feel super enthused after the first book necessarily. I think I might have had to convince at least Purple to keep going.
Hey, look at this. All right, so I have purchased the book in paperback, and I have gotten I got a special pen that lets me write in it without leaking through the pages. And then I got page markers, which are color coded, and I got like highlight tape, which is also color coded. So I have all of these. I went through an entire sheet of the markers already. I highlighted things in green that I thought were good, or green flags.
Okay.
I highlighted them in pink if they gave me red flags.
Oh no.
Like, for example, turning our pages in the scripture to page 1 of chapter 1. We got our very first red flag.
Page 1 of chapter 1 already? What is
After a year of slavery. That was the first red flag. I was like, no. I was sad. Everything that annoyed me, I highlighted in yellow. Everything that made me laugh, I made a joke about it, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm in fact hilarious.
That's true.
Those are in blue. I wrote a synopsis, or a little like thought collection at the end of every single chapter. Okay. And orange is just random thoughts. So if I was like, "Ooh, that's a nice word," because she does use a couple of 75-cent and dollar words, I had to look up a word.
Ooh.
I was like, "Ooh, that."
Spicy.
It's not very often I have to look up a word.
We had her thesaurus with her when she was writing.
Damn. I can't believe she was 16.
So Purple, so far, what would you say is your favorite part of the book?
My favorite part was whenever Princess Nehemia. Yeah, that's what I said. No. Whenever Princess Nehemia was sparring with the prince and she fucked him up. That was good. I was like, yeah.
Okay, so that's your favorite part up until through chapter 31.
Yeah.
I gotta disagree.
So yeah,
I much rather when she finally got into the ring with, what was it? I forget his name.
Varen,
yeah. And she just let it loose, and I was like, "Fucking get it!" Like, that was a good girl, like a girl power moment. I really enjoyed that one, because I feel like that was the first time that she was herself in that way, in like the dangerousy way.
Sure,
the dangerousy way.
Well,
I love it.
She's been like snarky and impulsive the whole time, but she I like that part.
That's fair. It's hard for me to pick a favorite. I feel like probably of the three of us, I'm really liking it. a lot. I know you guys are like, it's so boring. Oh my god, I can't read this. It's so boring. What's gonna happen? I'm like, no, it's so good. I don't know. I like it so far. It's definitely not that strong in comparison to their other works. But like the first thing that I ended up marking, which I just thought was funny, which is kind of just a silly example. But the scene on page 62 in our holy scriptures, when she basically throws that, I think it's like a flower pot in. At, people being like, "Oh, that's the prince's new harlot." She's like, "Is what?" And then and it's right after the scene where she's like, she does her observations around her. The night's here. How easy would it be to escape? Blah blah. This. Who do I want to piss off? Who do I not? And then just this scene of like her being insulted unknowingly, necessarily. Like these people don't necessarily, I think, know that she's overhearing this. It's just such a fun moment where I feel like I'm starting to actually get an idea of like who the character is. And it was pretty hilarious that they were still willing to do all that, even knowing the consequences. I think that's a little silly, but fun. And then I also had another favorite, but it sounds kind of silly now because you guys all pick these like cool girl boss moments. And I'm like, remember when, first of all, I'm going to butcher this man's name again.
Oh boy.
Well, how did you say it was?
Which
Kale?
one?
The fucking,
It's like chaos, but instead of an S, it's an L. Kale.
Kale. I hate it.
Well, the name pronunciation in the back of my book says that it is Kale Westfall. Kale. I called him Carol the entire time.
Can I tell you, I got so distracted by the names in this one.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated. I watched a video of our Lord and Savior Sarah J Maas actually saying the names of all of the characters, and that's when I was like, okay. Now she missed a couple.
Oh
no. Those are frustrating, but the ones that she, like, thank goodness for that, because that's where I figured out his name is Kale.
Kale. I hate his name, but I will say I love the scene with the ring.
I thought that was sweet.
After the
I thought it was creepy.
Creepy? No.
It'd have been creepy if he had just slipped it on her hand while she was sleeping and not said anything. That would have been creepy.
Still would have been into it, but yeah, that would be creepy.
I mean, why are men going in her room? Like, lock the damn door, right?
No.
This poor girl who's in a stressful situation.
So she's an assassin making knives and like doing all these traps and shit. Okay, these men just stumble on in. Okay, and it's always just a little silly time.
It's awkward as shit in the middle of the night, and then I'm like, damn, like, give the girl a break. And then they're both like, do I want her? Do I not want her? And then randomly out pops the anger and jealousy between them. And then on page 187, he was fairly certain she was a virgin, but did Dorian know it?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, you're first of all low-key stalking this girl in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Bro. You're giving her gifts of rings, right? Which already has like connotations.
Sure.
Then you're gonna comment on whether or not your best friend knows that she's been fucked before? Like, bro, come on.
Yeah, that was extremely frustrating.
Like, why is this even here?
That was one of my least favorite parts and least favorite scenes. I hate it every time Prince Douchery goes into her room. I'm like, get the fuck out.
You're gonna regret calling him that. I think you're gonna end up liking Dorian
do
one day.
too.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I do not like the prince.
Well, we said the same thing about Eris, and we said the same thing about Nesta, and we said
Daddy Eris.
Exactly.
Now listen, I don't hate Dorian though. I really don't. And I think he's struggle busting his way through life.
Yeah.
So I don't think he makes all the best decisions.
No.
But I don't hate him. Why do you call him Prince Douchery?
To be fair, I don't feel like he's done a lot of douchey things yet. I mean, maybe
Agreed.
He will. I mean, he's like a
Half
little
of
obsessed
my
with their
red
girl.
flags are from him.
Oh, God. Okay, well, we'll get into it. I actually wanted to just go over that passage one more time because I actually marked the same one for a different reason.
Okay.
Because
on what page in our scriptures?
187 of the Holy Tome.
Oh.
But I was marking this because, I mean, yeah, the virgin thing was like weird and a little off-putting because I was like, oh, what are we doing here? But I liked the line of, he didn't understand the rage that arose upon seeing Dorian standing in the doorway, didn't want to understand that sort of anger. And like, I don't know when Sarah developed this writing style, but she puts little hints and stuff early. And I'm like, oh my God, are they mates? Is that a thing? Because Sarah loves fated mates. So like, as soon as I read that, I was like, I mean, obviously it could not be that necessarily, but I marked it for that purpose because I was still like thinking about Kale.
I see this. I do. I see that you're because he said, yeah. Because something beyond it. I think that's the piece that you're looking at.
And I was like, oh no, what does that mean? Mate? I don't know. I mean, it's too early to tell. There's only one book. There's probably more characters that I haven't even met yet, but I was like, you said what?
I kind of wish there was I don't know. I don't like her with Dorian, like long term.
Sure.
I think he would be a fun little one-nighter, but I don't think that because he just kind of seems like he's wanting an escape.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just kind of here for the moment, it sounds like. To me, at least. I don't find that to be like long-lasting love that they're feeling towards each other.
Sure. They could definitely.
I think he's in it for the novelty.
Sure.
He's fucking bored.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but
Been there.
yeah, I think that's the only reason why he's even paying her any attention is because it's the novelty.
Sure.
And he's just trying so fucking hard, and I don't like it. It's heckin' cringy, and I'm like, I want to punch you in the dick.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of him and your strong feelings, I assume your least favorite part of the book has something to do with Prince Douchery, as you say.
My least favorite part of the book or least favorite character?
Least favorite part, or we can do either, like a certain scene, or if you just want to jump into characters, either way.
I mean, the least favorite scene is the talking about her being a virgin. Like, that's completely just asinine. I did have an entire, 2 pages of the book where I just was hating the entire thing. Mm-hmm. And instead of highlighting it, I just was like, from here to here, I just hate this entire passage.
Oh my God.
What is that passage?
Yeah, what?
I didn't get anything later.
That big.
What chapter? What page?
I'm looking. Hold up.
Acid, hold
I am
up.
consulting the Holy Scriptures. Please hold.
That big of a
You guys can go ahead and move on, and I'll come back to it as soon as I find it. Okay. I gotta turn my light on.
What about you, Cuddle? As far as a least favorite scene, least favorite character so far, anything along those lines?
I mean, the only thing I had a really strong feeling about was the virgin comment, because I understand that female sexuality in literature, fantasy and otherwise has a lot of roots in virginity. I just felt in this particular book, in this particular circumstance, this particular passage, if she had left it out, just even that one line, nothing would have changed. And sure. I just feel like if you're going to use that theme, it should be there for a reason. And because I don't like the idea of a girl, regardless of whether or not she's the character we like, regardless of how old she is, regardless of if she's a main character, side character. I don't at all like worth being attached to it, or any kind of whether or not that person is attractive in one way or another to be attached to that topic. I don't go well with that. So I felt like that was kind of in that direction, and I didn't really think like that, because it almost seemed like he was trying to protect her from Dorian, saying that he would like the fact that she was a virgin because he would want to take that as a notch in his bedpost kind of thing. And I don't think that that's, at least from what we've read so far, I don't find that to be Dorian's general vibe. but I don't want it to
Sure.
be suggested either. Because then that almost makes us dislike the character.
Yeah. Yeah, that in general is not great. Maybe that partially comes from Sarah's age at the time. That
Yeah.
being more of an important ideal growing up. Or even, I mean, it could even be, not that it necessarily used in a way that was super comfortable or super great, but the implication I got when they started getting into her backstory with Sam, I would assume that she's not that it matters by any means, but I almost wonder if she throws things out like that as a moment where you can have like a feeling about a character, like a gray character perhaps, and then brings it back. So I almost wonder if it's almost intentionally kind of like that. I mean, I'd like to think that way instead of it just being kind of there for no reason and gross. And time will tell. But I wonder if Sarah's doing that as like there'll be growth here later.
I do see lots of growth in the characters, though. I really do. I think that's very apparent, especially with Selena. I feel like there's lots of imagery in here that's happening, like with the dogs and stuff, for example, or the bitches, as he puts it. I thought that was funny.
Fair.
And I do like their little giggle fits together. I do think they're cute together. He's almost like a Malcolm Reynolds from what you call it? What the fuck's that called? TV show. Oh my god. Brain fart. It's Firefly. He kind of almost gives me that, like that was the intention for the character. And we love that character type. So I feel like he has a lot of potential. I just wish at the moment he had more screen time.
Sure.
Or page time.
Sure.
Page time. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to make an actual PowerPoint
Oh my god.
and explain why I hate him so much.
Oh no.
The passage that I could not stand was on 178 to 179, this whole section.
Oh god. Okay.
Whenever he got super drunk and he just went to her room and like hung out while she was asleep, and he was like breathing on her neck. Like, no. Just so much no. And I actually wrote down, I just hate this whole section.
Yeah.
I just tabbed it, and I was like, fuck all of this. I also had a giant paragraph that I highlighted that was yellow, where he was talking about how he would just randomly go and hang out with her and force his company on her, whether she wanted it or not. And I was like, ew, such Tamlin vibes.
You talk about whenever they were being snarky back and forth, and he whispered it in her ear on the sparring floor.
No, this was whenever Dorian was like pissy and then went off to the kennels. He was talking to Carol.
Carol.
I'm taking it. Like,
Karen.
you can't.
Yeah, I did think it was weird that both men showed up. Like, I feel like that's a boundary. But I suppose, again, if you're putting your head in the head of a 16-year-old girl, you know, maybe in her eyes that was one of the only ways that she could imagine to show that they had wanted a connection. And we're coming at it from adult minds who are like, what kind of connection?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I did say in one of my end of chapter, conclusions that his overtime closer to chapter 31, that he did get less angrifying. I didn't want to punch him in the dick quite as hard.
Oh.
So
nice.
I would be willing to reassess, at a later time. But he had to fucking put in the effort because this is just pissing me off.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
So I'm at the end of chapter 31, and I don't want to shove him off a cliff, but I definitely don't want my main character to be with him.
Here's the thing. When did this book release? Do we know the year? Just out of curiosity.
2012.
2012.
When was the Me Too movement?
After that. It almost seems like maybe like the sleeping stuff and like them showing up and stuff. I don't know. I know I bring everything back to Twilight, but Twilight was very much a pop culture moment in that writing field, you know. I'm sure Sarah J. Maas has heard of, at least at that time, Stephanie Meyer. I was probably interested in writing something similar, but just not fair, like, you know, vampires and stuff, even though Twilight vampires are fairies, but that's besides the point. As far as like the whole, like, I feel like that general decade of literature had a lot of people showing up at night, even if they were breaking into your house. It was like very romantic. Like, it's always like, again, victim of its time a little bit. Like, it's a really big plot point for Edward and Bella, and he was just like, yeah, I break into your house. And Bella's like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah, that's the ultra low rise genes of writing.
Oh no.
You're not wrong though. You're not wrong.
So, what was the thing that surprised you guys the most? I mean, for me, it was hating the prince because I thought that we were supposed to love him. But for you guys, what was the thing that surprised you?
Sure. For me, it was I didn't expect us to do like a murder mystery, like a fantasy murder mystery. I was not expecting. I mean, I didn't do like a ton of research beforehand because I like to go in relatively blind as far as like the plot points go. I don't want to have too many things spoiled for me, so I didn't look up a ton, or at least I tried to avoid like reading spoilers and stuff. Not that I've seen anyone even mention this, but yeah, I guess I was just surprised to have like there's a romance like novel happening, and there's fairies and there's things happening, and there's also a murder mystery, and here's some gore, and I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Mine sounds so much more stupid.
Oh, no.
Mine was a line, and I had to read it like 3 or 4 times, and I had to sit and think about it because I'm like, wait a minute. It's when she's describing Kale's training with her. This is pretty deep in the book, and he says that he was merciless with the trainings. He had her doing all sorts of activities, and then lists them. And she includes walking on her hands and juggling blades. And I was just like, wait a minute. Is he training an acrobat? Is he training why would he need... Hey,
the king's champion has to be well-rounded. Okay.
Yeah, well, I just was a little worried. Why are you juggling blades? How big are these blades? Is that like, what? I can't imagine in battle why you would possibly ever need to juggle.
Well, maybe it's a juggle off.
Yeah, she's planning actually to go into cover as a jester at some point, I'm sure. It's going to be a whole very important plot point.
Yeah, because I had to really sit and think, and I'm like, maybe she doesn't mean juggling like what I am picturing in my head as juggling, because I'm literally going like, block, parry, juggle. Look, I can do 3.
It's the bonus
action. So that was surprising, and I had to go back and reread that one a couple times. And I just was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm just going to move on. Like, that's totally fine.
They're just out here living their best lives, doing the best they can. I mean, if they want to, multi-class into circus performer, they can do that.
Yeah, why not, right? Live your dream.
The other piece that was kind of surprising to me was the backstory on Kale, where he explains that he doesn't have his title because he abdicated his throne to hang out with his bestie.
Vibes. Me with you guys.
So I was like,
I'd be like, I'm good.
Okay. I mean, okay, fine. I'm a little confused as to why he would do that, but maybe we'll find out more later.
Maybe the chair was uncomfortable.
Oh, that's a good point.
Well, Sarah does say in the Great Book that she questions like what happened to his mother, and then she just like changes the subject. So that probably means that there's a lot more there. And like, I want to meet his brother's brother hot. Like, I don't know. Like, what if we have another daddy heiress and we don't even know it?
Oh my
God.
Yeah, where's this book's Rysand, actually? I'm not saying recent either.
No.
I don't.
Where are the zaddies?
Yeah, where are they?
I don't know.
Nobody has like really nice facial hair.
No.
Doesn't Kale kind of remind you of Cullen from Dragon Age?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except, less chantry
Yeah.
and drug abuse.
Well,
Well-
you never know.
Well, it's too early.
He can have an arc.
Plenty of time for plot. Wild.
What? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So that I think those were probably two of my most like, oh, okay, wasn't ready for that.
Sure.
So would you say that Carol is your favorite character?
No. Do you know who I think is my favorite character right now?
Wait,
Who?
can I guess?
You can guess, yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, this is going to be fun. Okay. Who would your favorite character be? Who is either... Well, there's no one super masculine. Is there anyone really funny?
Well, I don't know. Kane is pretty masculine.
If it's Kane, go to therapy. Please not Kane, bro. Please not Kane.
Whenever I picture Kane in my mind, I think of the mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
comparison, I would say.
But like not attractive.
Sure. Goofy. What is it? I'm also probably gonna butcher their name, but it's Nehemania something.
Princess Nehemia.
Nehemia. Is it her?
No.
Really? Okay.
Although I do like her. I really feel like she's
is
very
great.
Watermelon Lady.
I love her.
Or she will be.
I wish
love
our main
watermelon
character
ladies.
was gay. Okay, if it's not her,
I'll give you a hint. It's not a person.
not a person.
But it's still very much a character.
Oh, not a person.
Is it the clock?
It is not the
The
clock.
gargoyles.
I mean, it screeches. It might as well sound
No,
like
I'll
I'm
tell you.
The elf, the fairy.
I have that's a close second. I think my favorite character right now has to be the collection of randomly assorted, poorly made, like spontaneous quote unquote weapons that she talks about all the time.
Like
I
the bars of
love
soap
it, dude. It's
and the bobby
so
pins.
funny. And she describes them, and I'm just like, I feel. You are hilarious. That is so fucking funny. She's got them stashed she's got them stashed everywhere. If you sat down on her bed that you'd get poked by something,
Mhm.
not like ripped open like she would probably hope, but you would get poked and you'd be like, oh, what is that? And it's like this makeshift knife. And yes.
Yeah.
So she's not your favorite character. Her makeshift weapons are your favorites.
Because it's just, she makes them so often and she talks about them so often and they're so bad.
She likes to do crafts.
I love her crafting. Arts and crafts time with Selena. Oh my god, that would be a great shirt. Arts and crafts.
Oh my god.
All right, onto the merch store to make a thing.
Goofies.
So I want to know, because you write what you know,
Mhm.
right? Especially whenever you're first starting out as a writer, you're going to write what you know. I want to know if that means she sat around her house one day, was like, fuck, she needs to make some weapons. What the hell could I do? And then she just went and found some fucking bars of soap
Uh-huh.
and some like bobby pins. And was like, you know what I'm going to do? I just started shoving them in the bar of soap. I was like, you know what? It works.
She's a young entrepreneur making her own products, and I respect
I want her to open an Etsy store.
Honestly?
Oh my god, bro, that's
Crafts
so fucking
with
funny.
Selena or whatever. I love it.
Sardothian exports.
Oh my god. That's goofy. I love it.
But a close second is got to be Elena, the Queen Elena, because I think it was fucking funny when she showed up the second time and she's like, look, I don't know. I was just relatable. It was fucking funny.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be
that was
this
good.
ethereal, being who's, oh my gosh. And then she's like, yeah, bro, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like that whenever I'm trying to teach some kids a lesson, or like I'm trying to teach my nephew, like, so the lesson we get from this particular experience, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Just we're gonna go with it, man. I just work here.
Yes. It's the I just work here vibes for me.
Oh my goodness. Y'all
All right,
so
Blue,
goofy.
you like problematic people.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Mhm.
your favorite character is gotta be the bitchy lady. The bitchy frou-frou lady.
With the
Lady
impossibly small
Columbine or
waist.
whatever her name was.
Lady Columbine.
Small ways.
Oh my goodness. But I you know what? I do think she's fun. I don't know about favorite, but she has I do think she'll get a cool story. I like how manipulative she is, and I don't know, that she uses her body as a tool, classic Nesta vibes. Love it.
How dare you?
They are not the same.
Unhealed Nesta vibes a little bit.
All right, that's a little better.
Yeah,
You do not put Nesta, our Lord and Savior Nesta, into the same paragraph as Lady Columbine. That's not okay, man.
Lady what?
You just
Lady
called
Columbine. That's what I called her in my head while I was reading the book. Lady Columbine.
Caltaine is not hard. Caltaine. The fuck?
Look, this is the thruple love story of Callie, Carol, and Princess.
Wow, I love
They
art.
were accosted by Prince Douchery and Lady Columbine.
Oh my god.
I do think she's neat, though. I think she'll have an interesting role to play, and I do like that type of character, but I mean, as cliche as it is, I like Selena. I want to see what happens. I like how good they are. They seem to be pretty good, even though they're like, living this like assassin life. I think they're kind of going into this like, you didn't really have a choice. You were groomed at 8 years old, probably. Shit's just always been happening to you. Like, how much of this is a conscious choice? You're only 19 right now, and you were in basically a prison camp for a year, so you went there at 18 tops. Like, I don't know, she had to be really young when all of this like stopped.
Isn't she like 19 right now?
Now she is, yeah. So then the story takes place a year after her imprisonment. So I'm assuming, she did basically all of her crimes as a minor. And I wonder how they're going to feel about all of them, like later on, as their frontal lobe develops, as Sarah's does, as she's writing the book as well. But yeah, I mean, as cliche as it is to pick the main character, I think she's probably like my favorite right now. No one else has really stuck out too much besides, actually, I really like Knox. I think Knox is very interesting and cool. I don't want him to die. I hope he doesn't in the next part. Let's hope he stays good. We're only through chapter 31, people, so I don't know.
Dude, when she did that swan dive savior act, I was like, all right, queen, I see you.
Yes.
But it made me cringe so hard whenever she said she slid down the pipe and her feet got cut up. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
It made my feet hurt.
Fair.
But I do love her character arc so far, because it felt like in the beginning she was pushing this idea of, dude, this chick is dangerous. And I feel like that's been throughout. But I think now that we're seeing her in the competition, she's being faced with the option to be selfish and like this dangerous, out there, in your face, this is who I am, powerful woman, or she's helpful and not saying that helping people isn't powerful. That's not what I mean. But she has to choose, like whenever she took the swan dive, like with her having to kind of hold back and not, to play it smart and not go with emotions in that regard. And I like that she's having to make some decisions that aren't by like so close to the archetype, I guess, that she was trying to write her into.
Mm.
And it gives her more depth character.
Yeah, I respect that. I felt that way a lot with when she didn't try to escape. She really thought about her plan and how that's going to affect the people around her and different things that were happening. And yeah, that's definitely a moment where I think we can see that for sure.
Yes.
Yep.
So what
Sorry.
what would you guys say if you had to pick one at the moment? What do you think like would be a good theme that you could probably attest to this book?
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a hard one to learn for some people.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, maybe I don't feel like she's really in it to be redeemed. I feel like she's really just looking for freedom. So she probably feels super trapped right now, and she's just trying to get out to where she has agency and the ability to control her life again. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't really have that. But I don't really see it as like I want to make up for the shit that I did to get in prison. It's more of like a please just stop making my decisions for me.
Sure.
I don't know, man. I got a hot take.
Okay. Ooh, spicy.
My hot take is kind of also it's kind of a hot take, but it's also like a prediction for the story.
Okay.
It's kind of both, but I think that it fits here. I do think it's a redemption story for her specifically because I have a feeling we had something to do with Sam's death. I think that she's punishing herself in some fashion for Sam's death because if you listen to her, she said he died right before she went into the prison camp. So what if he sold her out? What if she sold him out? What if they were together and she had to choose? What if she, betrayed him in some way? I don't know. I just think that's going to be a huge plot point that has to do with personal growth for her. And I just really have this gut feeling because we know she was sold out by somebody, and I just feel like it was Sam, and she killed him, and then she was sad about it.
I had a feeling it was the person that brought her into the assassin life in general, like her mentor.
Assassin daddy.
Oh, maybe. What if he's hot?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's the daddy with really good facial hair that I've been waiting for. Maybe one that's not 19.
Yeah, I mean they'd have to be older, right? Either way, I think I could see where they're going with that, but I definitely thought more so not necessarily Sam, but the person that essentially raised her. I guess you could call it that. Kind of figured that was going to be the betrayal.
She's definitely got something going on with the king. The fact that she was so physically upset whenever he was just in the room, there's definitely some trauma there. So I'm interested in seeing what they've got for there.
I kind of imagined that would be what I would feel like if I were to walk into the room under the control basically of Adolf Hitler. After Holocaust, I'd be like, oh fuck, I would be genuinely terrified to have that dude in control of my life because god damn it, he did the fucking Holocaust.
Anybody else want to know where the fuck he is, by the way?
He's really busy right now.
He's
girl bossing a little too close to the sun.
I think he's the beastie.
Oh. Maybe.
Yeah, or he knew the beastie was timed like a time release thing, it's annual or
time release.
Whatever. Yeah, 3 to 4 hours after you take the pill. No, he knew that the beastie thingy was gonna happen, so he noped out and was like, "All right, you guys got this." or he is the beastie thing, or he's in charge of the beastie. He's
That
either
would be
involved
interesting.
or he knew about it and he noped the fuck out.
Yeah, like if he was killing competitors that he viewed on like his own personal level as like not up to par, that'd be kind of cool.
Or, I mean, if he just didn't like the way they looked or smelled or
Smelled.
breathed his air. I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a very distinguishable person, like somebody that he would distinguish between various things for good reasons. He'd be like, I don't know, I just don't like the way your hair is styled today. I'm gonna kill you.
Interesting. Goofy. I don't know. I don't see him being that impulsive.
I don't
I
think
see
it's
him-
impulsive. I think it's ruthless.
That's fair. I don't know. I feel like she will probably kill him one day though. Dorian might not like that though. He might not like it. He might be into it though.
Does anybody else hate the fact that the palace is made of glass?
I don't know why she hates it so much.
Probably for the same reason I hate it. Whenever we're in it, I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna fall. Because it's made of fucking glass.
I feel like hers is a more visceral reaction, though, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
people in glass houses should not throw stones.
I thought it was just the safety thing. Like an over, like, you know, how every chapter they're like, oh my god, make sure you know, she's like going over like her environment and everything around her and like how glass would be pretty much something they wouldn't want to live in due to how fucking obvious it would
Fragile?
be to see you and how fragile it is. So I almost thought of it like that instead of like a real thing, like a real reaction.
I would hate to
What?
live there if it started to hail.
What if it is a metaphor for feeling exposed? Because there is at one point a moment where she's talking to Elena and she says to herself that she kind of hopes and begs that she says, if you turn to your good book, the scripture, page 193, it says, the nausea returned. She hoped Elena wouldn't speak of what her heart refused to remember. Hope that the queen wouldn't mention what she has spent so long forgetting, which of course has got to be who her parents are and, you know, whatever path that the author's wanting to put towards her and whatever she has, you know, birthrights towards. But what if that would expose her to the world around her and to her actual true identity and self that she spent so long trying to forget? And that is why we don't like glass.
Deep. You're giving
Because-
16-year-old Sarah J. Maas a lot of credit, but I think you might be onto something.
I mean, fucking think about it, right? Out of all her arts and crafts times, she has never broken glass to make a knife.
I didn't assume
It would
was
be
that
too
easily
noticeable.
breakable.
Well, she's got windows. She's got, I'm sure, mirrors. She's got glass available to her. She had the pot. She could have broken ceramic things inside of the room, but she never once does that to make something sharp. So I'm wondering if she just has this, I don't really like all those things because they have reflections and whatever. I think that might be reaching a little bit, but I feel like we might find that the glass part of the castle could have something to do with whatever business she had with the king in the past, and or could be for exposure.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. If they go with that, I'd be really happy. I think that'd be really interesting. But I guess we'll just have to, once we finish up the book, see if that's a theme that, I mean, at least is presented in this first book. It might even come back up later. But I would like if they went with that. The whole, like, reflection thing, her not being able to focus on her past for too long without skipping and changing the subject and things like that. Even her pastime of, like, wanting to play music and getting lost in it really relates to, not being... no thoughts. Turn them off. Like,
What? That's not what reading does. I don't know what you're talking about.
uh-oh.
None of us escape in books like she does. That's
That's crazy.
Escaping a book. We don't do that.
we don't even. I loved that she has got like a 2-pronged book club.
Sure.
She's got a book club between her and Prince Douchery and a book club between her and Carol.
Not Prince Douche.
You and these nicknames.
I'm kind of living for it. Sarah should just ask you to name the characters, I think.
I would do it.
All right. Well, speaking of, if that's going to be brought back up at any time in the later half of the book here, there's a lot of unanswered questions that we have so far going into the next part of the book. Anything anyone specifically is looking forward to?
I don't understand why Princess was looking so intently at her forehead specifically. She wasn't just like staring at her. She was staring at her forehead.
She got a big ass forehead.
It's just such a weird space to just.
She was even at one point like, "Yo, I got something on my face."
And then she was just like, "No, we're not going to talk anymore." And I was like, "Wow, did somebody draw a dick on her face while she was asleep?" I mean, dudes apparently come in and out of there all the time while she's asleep. So maybe
slumber party.
That was making me upset.
Happened twice.
I was thinking maybe like Princess saw like a Fey lineage marker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
On her forehead of some kind that we don't know what it is.
Maybe she was just too distracted by the juggling of the knife. I don't know.
You know what?
Keep it together.
Possible.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I feel like Elena, that whole plot line will tie into that for sure, as far as the like that marking thing. I think we're somehow on a trajectory getting to that point, 100%. I don't know how it's going to happen, but obviously Sarah has changed characters over before, so.
Yep. Or, she could just be socially anxious and
just can't make eye contact. Stare at her forehead.
Yeah,
maybe she had a really big pimple we didn't know about.
Goofy.
I would really like to know why because we know Sarah. We know how she works,
right.
And there are certain things that pop up. And then in like 3 books, she's going to lay it on us, right? And we're going to be like, and then, So red velvet shoes have popped up 3 specific times. Twice when she was describing her escaping from her other country, fleeing from the death of her parents. And she mentions that she had just killed someone. The only other time that she is wearing red velvet shoes is when she finds the escape out of the castle. And they make a point of describing them as red velvet shoes.
Maybe it's like a there's no place like home.
Oh no. ACOTAR's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and this is gonna be
That's not Beauty and the Beast.
That's the first one?
That's Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's why I was saying ACOTAR was that, and then this is gonna be fucking
yeah.
It's like, what?
All right.
So
did they describe what shoes Elena was wearing in the sarcophagus, or
no? Didn't even talk to her feet.
She did mention her nose though.
Wow, no feet.
She did boop her. She did boop her. Yeah,
I was here for the boobs.
For the boopening. So the shoes are getting me right. Like I feel like there's got to be something with the shoes. Right. That's gonna hit us in like 4 books, and she's gonna be like, "That's why I always wore the red velvet shoes." And we're going to be like, "No, Sarah, no."
Wow, I kind of thought you were just going to say you wanted to know how many knives she could juggle at once.
They're not real knives.
Oh,
they're just blades.
Just soap with bobby pins sticking out of it. Oh my god!
You're going to make very inanimate. You're very inanimate object fixated with this book. You want to talk about shoes and makeshift weapons and real weapons and porcelain and glass?
That's true.
Well, on that note, I have a fucking question. Why is it so damn hard for her to find any books on the word symbol things? Like, I don't understand why that's so difficult. So I'm hoping that there's like this outburst of lore somewhere. Maybe going back to the book burnings and stuff that she keeps mentioning. But I really would like to know why it's so difficult. That's like a huge struggle for her later on in these things. She gets so fucking frustrated and so mad. And then Kale does the weird dead
yeah.
thing, which I was
He's
like,
silly.
what the fuck? Like that seemed kind of out of character for him, but
He just wanted to fuck with her.
I just don't know why
That was
it's so
funny.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that's-
do these books not believe in glossaries? Come on.
Yeah, they make Pharaoh unable to read, and then they make this character able to read, but they can never read what they need to.
What the? It's just this. You know, I feel called out
Goofy.
as the reader.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Maybe they'll bring
What
that
about
up at
you,
some
Blue?
point with the didn't they mention the library that she said books had probably been saved from? Maybe they'll end up there at some point to research. But as far as the unanswered question thing, like I'm pretty interested in the murder mystery plot line. Like I want to know, is that Cain? Is that not? Is the king in on it? Is there like what is this beast doing? Like what that kind of whole arc is. Because I definitely think that's something that we could see, like they'll reveal, and then we'll like look back in the text and be like, "Oh my god, I should
In the
have known."
scriptures.
Yeah, the Holy Scriptures will have shown us evidence. We weren't ready to see the light. We weren't ready to get that reveal. So I'm ready for that.
There was another section that she added in, which I felt like it didn't flow in the writing. Which anytime that happens, I'm like, "Yes, Sarah, I can hear you." Page 134, whenever she was talking, or whenever in chapter 17, Dorian was being specific about his bitches, talking about how like there was one that like was going to have a litter, but didn't know if it was going to be, one or the other, and then said that she'd never been able to be tamed. I don't know if that's supposed to be a metaphor for Selena. Or like why? Because it was just one paragraph, and then we were on talking about something completely different, and like why he's so connected to the dogs. Like he kept going back to them a couple of times later on in the other chapters. So I feel like there might be something there, but I don't know. I hope so, because otherwise it just seems like a weird thing to put in there, So I guess what's up with the dogs?
Oh, well, I just had an idea. Do we think that's at all tied into the plot line of the beast that's destroying stuff? Is he able to access something to change them and is killing off the competition because he wants her to win?
Well, I still don't really understand why he wants her to win so bad. Like, it's not just
he's
betting.
in love with her.
Like, he hinted at having a deeper, like, important reason.
Despite his father, too, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that. Yeah. He got daddy issues.
Yeah, and he
Don't
thinks
we
he's
all?
cutie pie. And that's all that I think it is.
He's so shallow.
I really hope it's more than that, though.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, but I definitely hope it'd be different. But I wonder if that might have something to do with it.
I thought that the dogs represented his love life.
Mm.
Like, he was hoping for the female to, have pure blood or puppies, because that's what his station wants from him, but he continually, sleeps with people outside of marriage, which would produce smuts or bastards. And so he was hoping for change. He was hoping that he could fall into step and fall into line with what is expected of him in his station.
Yeah.
But he continually, lets himself down.
Sure.
And he's just upset about it. That was the parallel that I drew with the dogs, that it was about his own romantic situation and his title.
Yeah. Interesting.
His hashtag privilege.
Sure. There's enough of it there to definitely mention.
Yeah, apparently he's able to just, walk into women's rooms whenever they're asleep, and it's totally fine.
That's how I've always done it. Is that how you guys do?
Oh, no. I get, consent, because...
Oh. Oh.
Well, listen, who's up for a little B&E?
Do you guys have any other predictions that maybe are just kind of out there and you don't think are actually going to happen, but you hope they're going to happen?
I think Elena's spirit is going to enter Selena, and I think then some shit's going to happen, and she's going to be, like, combined with her somehow, magically.
Nice.
That's my prediction.
I do think they are like legit related though.
Sure.
Like great 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 grandma.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If they're related, she's one of the great great grandmothers or whatever of Dorian. Doesn't that make them related?
Yeah, so on that note, my wild prediction is that Callie is gonna totally fall into thruple love with Carol and Princess Nana, and that they're all three gonna like usurp the king and rule, you know, and then Prince Dushery can abdicate and he can like go peace out roaming around and being all like, my bad, I wasn't trying to sleep with my 28th cousin. That's not what I wanted. My bad.
Wild.
Yeah. I think that she's part Fae, but I think she's royalty of the other country. Of Terrasen.
Yeah.
I think she's royalty because it doesn't make sense for her to have red velvet shoes if she's not royalty. And they said that Orinth is the capital. That's where that library was. She talks so fondly of it, like she had been there so many times. I think that she killed someone during their like takeover, and like in self-defense, and then that's when she gets found by the assassin. That's what I think is the story plot for that. That she probably walked in or like was attacked like with her parents. And yeah, that's so I think she's part Fae, but I think she's I think she's Terrasen royalty. And that's why she doesn't want anybody to find out. Because she would be the enemy, right?
They would have to exterminate her for being the
magical.
Yeah. And the usurped ruler of the Tesseract land.
That's really, but that would make sense why Elena came to her.
Right.
And called to her.
Well, didn't Elena came from Tesseract land?
Yes, the Tesseract land. Yeah, yeah. Her dad was the one who made the forest belong to him, and that's the one where she mentioned the fairies and how she, you gotta fucking respect the fae. And then they came in the night and left little presents for her at her bed. Remember?
Hashtag adorable.
It was cute. But again, just very glossed over really quickly. And then Sarah just doesn't mention Faye for many chapters. So easy to miss.
I could definitely see the whole relative plot line and things like that. But I almost feel like it would be cool if they did that. But I almost feel like she's not yet, but she will be. Like, I think she's going to be not quite cauldron maid, because I'm not sure if that's a real thing at this point. But something similar to like Nesta and Elaine, as far as Elena like manifesting within her somehow, and like she's already been chosen spiritually to be guided that way, I guess, is how I took like little moments like that.
Yeah, I agree. I have no clue what the fuck we're doing with this clock tower bullshit. But
I love the fact that it just screams.
I mean, yeah, very relatable.
relatable.
Most relatable character.
I changed my choice.
I just scream whenever the time changes the hour. I have to scream.
Me.
What do you mean it's daylight savings? Whenever she was in the Coombe the second time and everything, was still the same, why the fuck didn't she take the goddamn sword?
It's too obvious. She had to explain
one that was on the wall.
Respect.
Not the one in the dude's hands, the one that was on the wall.
Yeah, respect. She named that sword. That's a famous sword. That's
all the more
like
reason
a legend.
To take
I think it's
it.
not for her. I think she's going to become Elena, and someone else is going to get the spirit of that guy. And I think it's Kale.
Oh, it's Carol?
That's who I think.
Yes. That definitely helps with the thruple idea.
See?
Because then they're all rulers. Because then she's like her long lost kingdom lady. Princess Na is her kingdom lady. And then Carol, hashtag dead dude king, is his own royal dude. So then that would be a throuple of king and queens and royal days.
You know what would make this story so much better?
Oh, what?
Okay. So Kale at one point was talking to Selena about the kind of woman that he likes. And she's like, would it be me? And he's like, oh my God, no, ew, gross. And then he's like, and then she says, well, would it be like, Keltane? And he was like, ew, vomit, no, gross. What if Kale's gay and is in love with Dorian? And we have a love triangle in this way. And oh my God, because every time that he talks about Selena, it doesn't sound very loving. It sounds very protective of Dorian and protective of her, but also protective of himself. He's very scared of her, very worried of her, but he almost admires her. What if he's gay bestie?
I would like it, but considering it was 2012, I don't think that was the move.
Are we thinking ace?
Maybe.
Like a romantic?
I'm thinking we need to romance, or sorry, not romance. I'm thinking we need to do a fan fiction.
Oh.
What's the author of your favorite fan fiction, Blue? Because maybe they could write us a little something.
Actually,
yes, I would love the throuple.
The last episode ever of the podcast. It was really nice having the experience.
Tune in next week for arts and crafts.
Oh my God. We're gonna put bars of soap with bobby pins into socks and throw them around.
Why didn't she just take socks and fill it with hard stuff?
Do they have socks?
I don't know. Feyre had leggings, so why not?
Why wouldn't they? I mean, they also have indoor plumbing, so...
Good for them. Priorities.
Yeah. Right?
Kind of respect that. Yeah, any other predictions for you guys? As far as anything else we're thinking will happen in the next bit of the book here?
Calling it right now. Mm-hmm. The ring on Cain, it's magic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are they doing like a communication thing with Cain and his gentleman friend?
It might have something to do with like magical shades. Because if you remember, Duke Parrington was wearing the ring at the dinner where Kale was like straight creeping him. And he said that there was like a shade that went over him as pupils dilated, fully taking up his eyes. Like he was seeing everything in the world all at once. Very otherworldly, very supernatural. And then he walks away like he's like, it's totally fine. So same ring on Cain, but he's good at everything. I don't fucking buy it. So Cain's getting special abilities from the ring he's getting from his thing. I'm calling it now. Okay. That's my pledge.
Maybe rings will be symbolic in general, which is why Kale gave our queen one. I'm shipping them as of right now until someone better comes along. That's your ship? Until someone better comes along. There's got to be a Ryson somewhere in this series. There's got to be one. And we're going to find
Did you guys notice that the terrible habit started in this book?
She even pulled it out.
What do you mean?
It.
The ribbons!
Oh, the ribbons.
She did it.
Yes, I even marked it and say it all goes downhill from here.
It's not. Oh my God, that's
For
so
context,
funny.
Dear listeners, in ACOTAR, if you have yet to read it, many characters are somehow sliced or cut into ribbons. Things are cut
bursting
into
ribbons.
Yeah, a lot of things happening.
Ribbons everywhere.
It was a reoccurring complaint for a few weeks here.
Plates turn into ribbons.
Uh-huh. She even put it aside in italics. Like, he turned into ribbons.
Oh my God.
I want to know what ribbons think, because she described a hole in your skull where your brain was yanked out. She described your face being like scratched the fuck off. She described your chest cavity and all of that being opened and all of your gooey insides, burgled for whatever reason. And then literal writing on the walls of these weird little marking things in blood. So why can't we have an actual description of what her brain says when she says ribbons? What does it even look like?
Starting to think it's actually a joke.
Maybe oh no. Is that why they cut that ribbon in Court of Silver Flames? They were like, let me write this down.
I didn't even think about that.
And it's fucking ribbon.
The ribbon was cut to ribbons.
She's got to have said that somewhere in an interview. So I'm gonna Google it.
We'll go to a book meet one day and be like, thoughts?
Okay, so why?
Yeah.
Just give her a gift of ribbons, like just packs of nothing but like various ribbon swatches. Just be like, here you go. I'm sorry, it's a little gruesome.
Every time you want to type this into your book, cut
just
one
take
of these
this
ribbons.
and just dump it on yourself.
There you go.
It's all these ribbons.
Oh,
there you
goodness.
go.
That was goofy.
If I ever cosplay Sarah J Maas character, I'm just gonna take a bunch of ribbons and just glue it to a dress. I'm just gonna wear that everywhere. Be like, look, I'm every character in the book.
Oh, God.
So the first thing that comes up when I Google Sarah J Maas ribbons is a Reddit post that says, "I'm going to scream if I read the words bloody ribbons one more time."
That's
in
so
any of Sarah's books.
Dude, see, I never felt that strongly about that, but I hated when she would say, like, Farrah had watery bowels. I was like, bro, if you tell me she has diarrhea one more time, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit, literally. Like, I'm gonna have watery bowels, Sarah. Don't do this to me.
That's the second post underneath it. Theory, Sarah J Maas has never been kissed before, and she's just running off of speculation and watery bowels.
Oh, no.
I mean, I've never had a kiss give me diarrhea, but... I also have never run so much that I hurled up my giant breakfast that I ate before I went exercising. I also never did it for 3 months straight. It's like it's no wonder that you're having a difficult time getting into shape if you're just gonna hurl your breakfast up every single day.
Listen, she's going through something right now. It's really tough.
Things are hard. Leave her alone.
Goofies. You guys. So we should probably wrap up our first episode here.
We do have one more thing, though.
Go on.
We have to come up with our they friend of the week.
Why is they friend gender neutral when friend is gender neutral? Just asking.
Because it's not a boyfriend. It's not a girlfriend. It's a they friend.
I see.
I could call it a boy-girl they friend, but that seems too bulky.
I didn't realize it was a romantic connotation.
Are you wanting it to be like a pyramid from Dance Moms? Like,
huh?
you know the dance. So the little girls were going to dance thing, and there always be a pyramid of the week or whatever, where the teacher would rip off the girls' pictures and stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, yeah, but I would settle for just who gets the title, and I feel
you're
like
third overall. You're third on the pyramid.
Exactly that.
I feel like Blue should take it this week, and Blue should give us they friend of the week.
Okay,
I agree. And we'll rotate.
Dorian, it is.
I hate it. All right, one really good reason why. Besides spite,
because he a little thoughty, and I respect that.
He's a thoughty.
He's out here in the streets, and I respect that. Honestly, I'm picking him mostly for spite, though. But I think he'll be interesting later on. As far as like plot lines go, I mean, I do really ship, like right now at least, Kale and Selena. I'm very interested in where that could go. But definitely the love triangle's not ending anytime soon. And it definitely seems a little bit more passionate on that side, the whole Prince Dorian and her thing versus Kale is a very different type of love, which I also think we'll explore at some point. But yeah, I think he's charming. I think he's got a certain look. Now, he's personally not really my type, but I would also say he's probably the most conventionally handsome character we've been introduced to so far.
I mean, every single
Eye candy is eye candy.
All of the characters in this book get listed as being attractive, though.
Oh, they're
that's
all at
because it adds to every character Sarah writes. Unless they're evil, and she's like, Duke is he has hot breath and hairy arms, and he's stinky. And it's like, oh my god, okay, Sarah, I get it. Everyone else
bad.
is unworldly beautiful except for this one dude. Who's fucking creepy.
It's a world of hot or not.
That's it. If they're ugly like Kane, dude, they're evil. Like, it's not a thing with Sarah. So I don't know. I would say probably Dorian at this point, but I guess we could play kind of neutral and say, what is it again? Nehemiaism?
Yeah, Princess.
Princess.
Nehemia.
Nehemia.
Yeah.
Right.
What I said.
Yeah, that's what I said too. So she could be Bae. I'm kind of in love with her myself, so.
Everyone panics. Oh my god, it's her. She's so good.
Bae of
She's
the
so
day.
strong.
Alrighty.
She's so strong.
Goofies. So we'll rotate that segment, you think?
Yep.
Choices?
We'll rotate that
Okay, I respect that.
between all three of us. Just we'll rotate it.
I call next.
The first time you get, you pick purple, I know it will be something that I'm mad about because I've done
You're welcome.
this.
You're so welcome.
Oh no.
I think purple's got to go last in this
Mhm.
book, just so that way we can give Dorian some time.
To re-redeem as some character arcs have happened. Yeah,
Well, for the next one, are we just gonna finish the book?
I think so. Yeah, the chapters are relatively short. So as far as, again, episode 0, we've kind of taken you through chapters 1 through 31, just about, not a full deep dive or anything, but all of the main points and all the character interactions we've had so far. I feel like it's picking it up in pace, but yeah, I would say the next time that our lovely listeners are hearing another episode, if we're on chapter 31 now, I think we could finish it, but by the next time we record. I think that'd be very doable. Especially then we can just jump right into the next one. Am I right? Am I right, boys?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes.
Wow.
I'm gonna make that a sound alert and everything.
No.
Do it.
I love it.
I love it so much.
But yeah, this has been our first little episode of
I'm
Smutty
excited.
Scriptures. I'm really excited. Just sitting hanging around talking about books with my besties.
Thank
Love
you
to
guys
have
for
the idea.
listening.
Of course. Yeah, we love to have the idea of you guys reading along with us. Let us know what you think. We're definitely here for the conversation and the debate part of it. If you bring up a good enough point, we'll probably mention it in the podcast itself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Whenever we end up posting this episode, I think maybe a bi-weekly schedule would be kind of cool if we could keep up with it as far as books. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And I would love to know everyone's thoughts about the shoes and about all of the questions
I'll
and
be
stuff
more
that they
prepared
have.
about the shoes next time.
Thank
you.
Ooh, I would
Um,
love to know what everybody's names were whenever they were reading. If they had a fun name for Princess Na or
brain's
Prince
just over it.
Doucheberry.
I just kind of and then it just goes to the next part.
But if you renamed a character, I want to know.
Sure. Sounds good. Now, as far as we also are, as Akatar fans, as Sarah J Maas fans, we do have some merch that we've been working on in our spare time. Now, as far as I know, we have an Instagram page for that. Are we able to plug the username here?
We absolutely are. Our Instagram page that you can find us on is Dual Minds Co. DUALMINDSCO. That's also the same name that we have on Etsy.
Incredible. Yeah, so we've got some really fun designs. There is actually really cool, we've got some planner options that were all super creative, and I'm going to give props to Cuddle and Purple for that because they were the creative minds around that whole subject, and they have really killed it with some different designs, and it's super fun. But if you want to, check out the merch, check us out. For now, it seems like we'll probably be posting this. Again, my name is Blue Cromwell. You're probably seeing this listed on one of my socials. Going to keep posting here and give you some updates as far as, when we get going next time. But thank y'all for listening.
I'm so excited, guys.
We
We have a little book club.
Oh my goodness, look at us.